Rev up your engines! Okay, what's going on with Ford electric vehicles? They're having a hard time selling them? Well, let's start out. We got two brand new Fords here. We're going to start with the Mustang Mach E extended range. Fancy one, the MSRP is $59,980. And if you haven't guessed by now, I'm not really an electric car fan. I'd never pay 60 grand for a car, especially an electric car. I'm not a big electric car fan. But right off the bat, you can tell they got a problem selling them because both of these vehicles were made in the middle of 2023. It is now the middle of 2024. It's a little bit over the middle. They're not selling these things. These are both new vehicles. Nobody's owned them yet. And if you followed the pricing of them over time, you realize one thing. Ford's dropping the prices dramatically in the real world too, because before they used to have list prices and then they'd get 20, 50, 100 over. Some guys were paying over 100 grand for the Lightnings. They were just paying whatever because they wanted to get their hands on it. Well, those days are gone. For example, in the first quarter of 2024, Ford lost $130,000 for every electric vehicle they sold. Ford split into Ford Motor Company and Ford Electric Motor Company. They don't want to ruin the big company by having electric cars bring them down, so now they're separate legal entities. That tells you they're having a problem selling these things. I'll talk more about the truck in another video, but as for the Mustang Mach E, the first thing you can tell is, even though it's got a pony on the front, there's the pony, you can see it's actually a compact SUV. There is so much competition in the compact SUV segment, it will make your head spin. I've seen people buy Mazdas instead of a Toyota. And I'd say, what, a Toyota RAV4s are really good. And they'd say, yeah, well, they were 15, 20 grand more than the Mazda, and the Mazda was perfectly fine for me. So there is so much competition. Even Toyota has shut down production of some of their smaller SUVs because they can't compete with the world market. And let's think, SUVs, right? Soccer moms, things like that. They want convenience. They want to be able to go all over the place. Range anxiety is a gigantic thing with an SUV. SUVs are made that way for what? Ultimate convenience. Take my wife's Matrix. That thing's 17 years old. It still gets 37 miles a gallon. It still looks new, right? It can go 500 something miles on a tank of gas. They estimate this to be about 300 miles, so quite a bit less. And of course, it's an electric car. You can't stop at a gas station and fill it up anytime you want. People that buy SUVs want convenience. They don't want to have to put their lifestyle into an electric car. Now, on the other hand, I know a 22-year-old who just bought one of these because he likes going fast, right? But let's think about it. SUVs are not notorious for being a vehicle that needs to go super fast. Now, let's face the facts. They're convenient. Families, you shouldn't be driving like a maniac with your kids in the back seat. So, the intended market of a compact SUV, people with kids and families, is kind of negated by making an electric car that's less convenient. The whole thing is more convenience, not less. Now, you gotta say, that's a nice looking car. They look a lot better than they did originally. Their style has increased. There's no doubt in that. So let's check inside, and it's got the old push button. Just realized first quarter of 2024, Ford sold about 9,500 of these. Tesla sold 390,000 of their electric cars the same quarter. They're competing with a company that sells a heck of a lot more. As we get inside, sounds relatively solid. Now, power start, the Mustang goes. It's getting ready. Now, as we look around, I gotta say, you can do things with your fingers, or I like this because look, you can do the temperature with a dial too, so you don't have to keep pushing buttons. I like that. Now, that's a good design. I'll give them that. And unlike the Tesla, where you gotta search forever for stuff, there's the fan, right? You can easily go low, high. Simple thing to do. We'll put it on low so it doesn't make too much noise. Now, what I like is, look, it's got a regular dash, shows your speed and stuff, the speed limit outside, and as you can see, it does have a screen, and the screen is relatively intrusive on the flow of the dash. It's kind of like an add-on thing. But unlike a Tesla, you don't have to keep looking over here. You get the information in front of you like a regular car. And like a regular car, I gotta give it to Ford. Here's your turn signal. It's not some stupid button you gotta look for, right? Here's your wipers, just like a regular car, right? The locks are like a regular car. The power windows are like a regular car. I do say it's better designed for regular drivers than a Tesla. All in all, hey, it's set up more like a car. I like that aspect of it a lot more than a Tesla. You don't have to do the screen the whole time. You know, you got lights here, you want brights, you hit them there. You want to squirt, you put your squirters on. Let's face the facts, it's a lot easier to mess around with some stupid screen. And the seats are pretty comfortable. Nice little slide there, like an old desk. You can charge your phone right there directly. And there's a reasonable amount of seat in the back. Look at those tiny little windows in the back, though. Little baby ones. Opaque sunroof, it's big, you know. So let's check the outside here. We'll see what kind of space the trunk has. There she goes. Got a reasonable amount of space. And if you put the seats down, you got a lot more space too. And of course, it closes itself. Now, being the Mach E extended range, it's got dual motors, so it goes 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. That's pretty fast. Now, it's a lot torquier than it is horsepower. The GT has a lot more than the regular ones by far. You get in a regular one compared to this. This is much faster. So let's take this baby for a spin. Put it in reverse, and it's got the great backup, which you can see. You can also see the side. That's very handy because we are very close to the edge here. It's going to warn us because there's poles and everything in the way. You can see it's close to that pole, just warning us that we're very close to there. But with this, we know we're not going to hit anything other than the leaves that are sticking out. It's a good warning system, I gotta say. Then when you drive, you just put it in drive like any other car. Of course, it's super quiet. And it's got the usual speed limit in your area, what speed you're going. And you don't have to look over here. It's all in front, just like the turn signals. Look, regular car turn signals. None of this nonsense of having to reach over here like in a Tesla. It has regenerative braking. It's not as aggressive as a Tesla. It rides more like a normal car. And it corners quite well. You can pretend you're in a Mustang looking at the front. The view's kind of like it. Of course, the back's different, but got a nice smooth ride, I'll give it that. Cut all the trees down. They're building more houses here in Clarksville. So now comes the true test. We're coming up to our little drag strip here. We'll come to a complete stop because there's nobody behind us. Let's see what this baby can do. It's quick. But let me tell you, it is not Tesla quick. It's not even as fast as that Volvo that I tried out the electric car. Because if you hit a Tesla like this goes, but it doesn't really throw you in the back of the seat. And truthfully, if I was in a souped up V8 Mustang with a gasoline engine, it would blow the doors off of this thing. Quick, but for what it is, it's not really all that quick. I realize this is the dual motor one. Extended range, right? And like I said, watch, I'll step on the gas. And it goes, but it really doesn't throw me in the back seat. I'm kind of disappointed with the acceleration of this thing. I'll tell you that right now. I can see why these things aren't selling. They really aren't super fast. It rides okay, but I'm really disappointed in the acceleration of this thing. We stop on it, it goes, but it's not super insane like a Tesla. If they're trying to sell these things to people that want all kinds of speed, I'm disappointed at what this thing does. Totally. It goes, but hey, it's not super fast. It is an SUV, and it doesn't have the get up and go that other electric cars I've driven. Like I say, that Volvo was a lot quicker than this thing. That's probably another reason these things aren't selling all that well. Realize that this thing is 2,000 pounds lighter than the F-150 Lightning electric truck that I'm going to make a video on. It's all that much lighter. I expected it to be quicker. I mean, I step on the gas, it goes, but it doesn't throw you back in the seat. I can understand why this brand new car that was built in the middle of 2023 is still for sale on 24 and the 25 models are coming out. You can have a hard time selling these things. Not really. It handles the twisties fine, and it cruises, well enough. You would just think that with two electric motors, this thing would have more brass balls than this thing has. It's just as underpowered as far as I'm concerned. So what's my conclusion? I am underwhelmed. I thought this thing was going to be a lot faster than it was. It had some nice design features and stuff, but Ford's having a really hard time selling these. Now I know there's a lot of reasons why. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.